Hey, how are you, Willie? Welcome back.
I'm good. How are you, Jimmy?
I'm awesome. Thanks for asking. How was your holidays?
It was spent a little bit of quality time with my parents. We went on a road trip. We didn't go to the mountains. We went to the East Coast, visiting Riceville Beach, visiting New Bern. After we exchanged presents earlier in the morning, we just wanted to do something different. About 90% of the restaurants were closed. We expected a lot of places to be closed, but we didn't expect as many on the major highways to be closed. But that was what happened.
Very nice. And you did that on Christmas?
Christmas Day. We just, I figured it was a better alternative than just, sticking around and watching the TV after we stuff our faces and all that. We stuffed our faces the day prior.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I spent my holidays with the actual Christmas day with my sister. The day before, my mom had, or my parents had like a little get together dinner for the whole family. So me and my family, my sister's family, my brothers, we all like went to my mom's house and we all hung out. And my mom does my parents do this really weird present thing on Christmas where we'll all pick a number, and then my mom will draw a number, and whatever number goes you go under the tree and pick a present. It's a random present. And you open it up, and then it's the next person's turn. And each person's turn, they can either go and pick up a present, or they can steal a present that they want from whoever has already opened up a present. And my mom threw these Nightmare Before Christmas Jack Skellington socks in there. And I was on that shit. I was on it. Well, first, I think it was my sister opened it, and then my daughter stole it. Oh, no. My daughter opened it, and my brother's girlfriend stole them. And I found out she had took them, and I was like, man, I just met this girl. Do I steal these socks from her? Because I really, really want these socks bad. And it was my turn to go and grab a present. I was like, fuck it. I don't even know her. I'm stealing these fucking socks. So I stole the socks. And after 2 steals, it's frozen. You can't steal the presents anymore. So I got the socks. And then later on that day, my brother was like, she just saw that movie for the first time and she absolutely loved it. And I started feeling bad. So I gave her the fucking socks. I was like, goddamn. So I ended up with absolutely, no. I ended up with, toilet paper that has crossword puzzles that you could do on him. So I'm excited to do that. I haven't started it yet, but that night I stayed the night at my sister's house. We were up until 2:00 in the morning, wrapping all the presents and setting them all up for the kids and stuff. And then the next morning, it took the kids about 15 minutes to open up all the presents and just completely disaster the entire house of presents and wrapping paper and shit. So we cleaned, made the dinner, and then we sat around and watched football until it was time for me to go home. It was very nice. Got to hang out with sister.
Yeah, I got some pictures of Christmas Day. I'd be glad to share that with everybody here. If you want, let me give me a second here, and I'll show it to everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. I actually posted this on Facebook, which I think I'm being I think I'm being shadow ban on Facebook. But wait a minute. Okay, come on. Let's see. That's mom and dad, and this is in New Bern, which was supposed to be the original capital of North Carolina, but they decided the middle of the state was the place to put it. So let's see. Hold on. That's them. Oh, hold on. That's them at Wrightsville Beach. And here's the tree, of course, in the living room. Yep. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see. Uh, don't take that many pictures around and all that to see. Uh, the tree in the living room. My Archie Bunker of the left chair. Yeah. I mean, it's my chair, the way Archie Bunker had his chair. However, I try to have good things to say out of that chair, not the reactionary shit that he likes to say on All in the Family. So
That's so awesome. Look
yeah.
at you. I took a bunch of pictures, but they're still in my phone. I'm not much of a sharer of my personal life, so I'm just always like, I have them, but I don't share them.
Well, mom and dad told me, he's like, "What? Don't you want a picture?" I said,
That's
And
cute.
it's amazing. I do this here as a hobby slash meaning to be a career down the road, and I yet I freeze up around the camera. I was just like when a still shot of me, I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. So
Same.
yeah,
Same. Yep. I know I get all weirded out in front of cameras. I'm usually the one taking them.
yeah. So, but anyway,
It's cool.
we're about ready to go into the year 2024.
We are. You got any plans? Any New Year's resolutions?
One resolution that I am meant to keep each year, and that's really not to make any New Year's resolutions.
That's right.
So, or
That's right.
maybe I broke it by making that as my New Year's resolution.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's my resolution too, is just to continue being the lovely pain in the ass that everybody has come to love.
there you go, there you go. And yeah, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, there's things I can do, like get my weight down, try to make, better personal decisions about certain things. And we all strive. I strive for that. I make weekly resolutions more than I do yearly resolutions. And you know what? Those weekly resolutions get broken real quick.
Yep, they sure do. That's why I just don't make any anymore. It's just too much. And y'all in the chat about birds is absolutely out of hand. They're like off in their own little world about pigeons right now. It's absolutely insane. What's up, chat? How is everybody?
Oh, okay. Yeah, chat line there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's say hi to everybody really quick. What's up, Warren, Matt, John, Sherry? Merry holidays. Mr. H, good to see you. Ellen, who else do we got? I know I saw Dixie. Yeah, there's Kayla. Um,
We have stream elements. I'm just kidding.
yeah, that's through me. That's mine. Who else we got? I think that's everybody. What's up, everyone? How are you all doing? Okay, so
Okay.
2024 is almost here. And I would say if you could what's up, Hirsch? If you could say one word about 2023, what would it be?
Perplexing.
Ooh, that's a good one. I was gonna say exhausting, but that's a good
Yeah,
one too.
well, yeah, or befuddled because it was it just um, you- things just went against the grain, and it seems that everything seemed to have been getting worse. So
Agreed.
I could think of two words. We're fucked.
We're fucked. That's a good one. Yeah, I'll give you the extra word. I'll give you my word so we can use we're fucked. All right, there we go.
Oh, there you go. All right, that'll work.
I agree. I agree. So then, so what we did for the show today is do like a compilation, we compiled some of the our own personal, I guess, top news stories of 2023. Some are going to be in, at least on my part too, is going to be obvious, absolutely obvious. Maybe one or two might be, you guys will completely forget that this even happened this year because so much stuff has happened that there was one that I was looking up that I was like, oh my God, that just happened like this summer and I totally forgot about it. I thought it happened like a year ago. So yeah. Uh do we want to start with yours?
Um, Yeah, I guess let's start with. I guess if you want to, we'll start with my first one.
Okay, definitely can do that.
All right.
Oh goodness, I think that's so cute. I think I just saw this one the other day. Let's bring it in. Sorry, I should have pre-done this. Share. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm here with Crystal. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. As I've been saying, there's no proper show this week, but we'll be back at it next week. That includes Crystal, Kyle, and Friends. No Crystal, Kyle, and Friends this week either. But anyway, there's still a bunch of stuff going on that I want to talk about. So did you see Trump's Christmas message?
I just saw people quoting it.
Okay. You want me to give it to you?
Yes.
You want it in the voice and everything?
Of course.
Okay. Merry Christmas to including crooked Joe Biden's only hope, deranged Jack Smith, the out-of-control lunatic who just hired outside attorneys, fresh from the swamp, unprecedented, to help him with his poorly executed witch hunt against Trump and MAGA. Included also are world leaders, both good and bad, but none of which are as evil and sick as the thugs we have inside our country who, with their open borders, inflation, Afghanistan surrender, Green New Scam, high taxes, no energy independence, woke military, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Iran, all electric car lunacy, and so much more are looking to destroy our once great USA. May they rot in hell. Again, Merry Christmas. It's almost like an AI parody of Trump.
Yeah.
So,
it does feel a little like he's trying too hard with it.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know what? Actually, my takeaway is a little different. This is only my second time reading it.
Yeah.
But my takeaway was, oh, he just got a new prescription of Adderall. Because he is flying, son. He's off the wall. He listed 7 different issues.
Well, I miss when there was a character limit, you know?
Yeah, just wrap it up, dog. Wrap it up. But this is Truth Social, not...
Yeah, I know, but I miss when he was on Twitter and there was a character limit because he was one of the greatest all-time posters. Yeah. But this is just, this is way too long. No one's going to read all this. It's tired.
Bette Midler's a low-energy loser. That was when it was the greatest hits. Wrapped it up quick. Everybody's laughing, having a good time.
Exactly. Get out while people still want more,
But what everybody's pointing out is the "May they rot in hell" thing, and people were comparing it with Biden's message, which was the most bland, vanilla, regular politician message of all time, and they were like, "Look, here's a real man who's facilitating a genocide, and here's an unhinged man who will also facilitate a genocide."
Such great choices we have in American democracy.
So that didn't. I saw this and I was like, that's kind of classic Trump. It's kind of funny. He said, may they rot in hell. But I didn't think much of it. But then today, he posted on Truth Social. I don't know if you saw this. You know those when that polling company does the word association game?
Yeah, this is the company that we use at Breaking Points for our focus groups, JL partners.
Yeah.
They do these word cloud things.
So they'll say, okay, Donald Trump, what word comes to mind? And people will say what word comes to mind. And then they'll do this thing where it's the bigger the word is, the more people said that word, right? So for Trump's, the number one word that people said when you bring up Donald Trump is revenge.
They asked him specifically, what does he most want to achieve for a second term as president? And the number one choice was revenge.
Okay. And then the second thing is power, followed by probably
economy.
a tie. Yeah, maybe economy's a touch bigger than dictatorship, which is also very big.
Dictator is also fairly large. So I feel like if you put dictatorship and dictator together, you probably are beating economy.
That's a good point. Yeah. And then a couple people said America. Some people said nothing. Some people said border. Some people.
What does Donald Trump most want to achieve in a second term as president? America. What?
That's the Eric Adams answer. And it's what word comes to mind to describe this year? And he's like, New York.
What single word would you use to describe this year? New York, because of 9/11.
It's a beautiful city. You could wake up one day, see planes crashing into a tower, and then see somebody open a small business later in the day. That went mega viral. That was very. Much. You watch it I'd walk in the middle of the day and she's watching it again for the 7th time. I was like, you really love that clip, don't you?
Love that clip.
So anyway,
it worked for me on every level. Anyway, this is not a good sign.
Yeah. So he shared this. He didn't put any commentary. He just shared this bubble thingy on his Truth Social, and it's he was almost showing it off, look, here's what I want to do in my second term. I want to do revenge. I want to do a dictatorship. It's when he answered that question from Sean Hannity. I don't want to be a dictator except day one. And one day I'll do the border, I'll do this, I'll do that. And it's like, he's really not hiding it, right? Ever since he did the, I mean, he tried to overthrow the last election. That was a sign enough what he wants to do.
Right.
But there's been a number of moments like, I'm going to terminate the Constitution. Those things are sort of like, it doesn't matter what he does, though. Like, there's still, the Republican base just loves him. They just love him.
To me, there's also a sense with him, both with this, with the, like, you know, poisoning the blood of our nation, like,
yeah, he's been saying that a lot. Yeah,
Nazi rhetoric that he's using. I also feel like there's an element of it takes more to get that same, like, trigger the libs response than it used to.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like, people have sort of like built up a tolerance to the sort of rhetoric that he used in 2016, which now seems like tame in comparison to immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country is a whole other level than, you know, they're rapists, they're criminal, and some are, I assume, are fine people. So I feel like there's also an effort just to make sure he still has his magic touch of generating outrage and triggering the libs.
I also kind of agree with a point Corin made a long time ago now, which is that he's doing it on purpose. So, like, he knew that the poison the blood of our country. He like A/B tested it. It got a huge reaction when he first said it. And he's like, I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
And it's like when liberal outlets get really pissed at him, he's like, that's it. I'm gonna go with this one.
That's exactly right.
Because my argument was,
the thing that people love about him on his side is the way he makes the people they hate freak out. And so, yeah, that's the whole game. And it doesn't matter how offensive what he says is, or like how terrible what he says is. If he's getting the rise and the reaction he wants, that's the whole goalpost for him.
See, my argument in the past was, no, he just sort of has verbal diarrhea and he just says whatever. And like, that's the end of it. Like, he's not that smart. He's just sort of rambling, and he's like a boomer Fox News grandpa, and like, he'll stumble across things that the right-wing base likes. That was what I thought. Now, no, I've seen this too many times. Like, I know what he's doing. I know he's like, I'm going to find the thing that pisses off liberals and leftists the most.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to repeat it. And then when they say I can't say that, I'm going to say it again.
Yeah.
And then that's the thing. That's the formula.
I agree.
You know, and like Ron DeSantis could never. He can't like catch on to something like that. Do something like that. It's so like strategic actually when you look at it, even though he's a total moron. Before we wrapped up though, I wanted to share, because we have the Biden word bubble here too. Like, what does Biden want to accomplish in the second term? Oh, this is brutal. Oh, this is so brutal.
It's so accurate, though. I can't imagine anything else coming to mind, honestly, than this one word. People should like think in your head what you would say to what does Joe Biden most want to achieve from a second term as president.
I would say genocide, because he wants to finish the genocide in Gaza, right?
Like, be done by then.
So it's a little nicer than mine, but literally the number one answer people gave is nothing, because he's not campaigning on anything. He hasn't released an agenda. He hasn't mentioned a single policy he wants to do in a second term. So it's nothing. You get, like, I guess the number two is some people said economy. What does Joe Biden want to do in a second term? Economy? Again, that's like the New York thing. That's the New York answer from Eric Adams.
America.
Trump is up there. What do you want to do? What does Biden want to do in the second term? Trump.
Just beat Trump. I mean, that's the reality, I guess.
Some people said peace, to be fair. That's relatively large.
What a lie.
Yeah, totally. Power, democracy, money.
Money?
I don't even know what that means. But the number one thing they said when asked about Joe Biden, Trump got revenge, Biden got nothing. And you know what? People summed it up perfectly. I think they got it exactly right.
Yeah, that's accurate. Because it's not like Trump is really running on an affirmative agenda either.
Right.
It really.
You got anything to say to that? Because they just talking now.
Yeah, they're rambling for sure. I do have a few things to say. For starters, the so-called liberal media, the mainstream media, will be happy to see Trump back, which I think is going to be the likely outcome next year. And they like them for his ratings. I mean, the ratings of CNN and MSNBC went through the roof with mainstream, with Trump's presidency. I don't really fear Trump. I don't support him in any way, shape, or form. But I think he's a blowhard, a loudmouth, incompetent, stupid troll. And I don't think he's capable of bringing dictatorship, even if that is what he wants. I'm still more worried about, if DeSantis is not going to drop out. Rumor has it he's dropping out. And Biden kept his promise. No fundamental changes.
Yeah.
That sums it up for me.
Yep. No, I agree. Yeah. I don't think Biden has done anything. And if anything, I'm even more scared about Trump more than I used to. I used to think that he was just a loser, nobody who just talks out of his mouth. But his whole like day one dictator thing kind of scared me. And then he started talking about how where he wants to put emergency orders in to stop people from doing anything against Christians. It was like some kind of like pro-Christian dictator law thing that he said, and that shit kind of worries me a little bit. Like, I don't want us to turn into a Christian version of Israel, which has been one of my biggest fears. So Trump worries me a little bit more now, but I still don't like Biden. And I did see a statistic of a lot more people going to be voting independent. So hopefully third parties will start getting a little bit more recognition and we can start changing things. We might have to deal with another 4 years of whoever, but I mean, it's not like we haven't dealt with it already, and I hope things just change. I'll just keep voting third party.
Yeah, I'm going to get a lot of hatred from people when I vote third party again, because I mean, the Democrats promise next to nothing, and they deliver less on what they promise for, or they'll promise less than what we expect from them, and then they don't even deliver on that. And I think that there is think some people, some of his hardcore supporters, they call it Christian nationalism. I think some people just want to see Trump as their Protestant Franco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. If you ever, what is it? There's a documentary, I think, on Netflix called The Family. If you ever watched that, you can see Trump is already starting to cater to those people. And it's kind of terrifying to me. I really don't like religious stuff in politics and all that. So
Yeah,
Trump worries me.
absolutely. No Christian Sharia, none at all. I do
I
not want
agree.
any. Yeah, like you said, I don't want a Christian version of what they have in Israel or a Christian version of what they have in Saudi Arabia. That would just suck for everybody.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the one that I have for 2023 is an article from Reuters that just recently came out, and they did a 2023 in photos of all the crazy climate stuff that's been going on this year. I think this year, at least in my noticing, there's just been a lot of extreme weathers, things like that. New weathers for certain areas. And I think a lot of these pictures definitely show a lot of what happened literally just this year. I mean, this is a wildfire in Greece. This is another of the wildfire in Greece. This was all in August, September of this year. I'm pretty sure a lot of us completely even forgot about that happening. Some more Greece pictures. Yeah, this is a storm hit in the in Libya of this year in September. It's kind of like the aftermath of it. Another one in Libya. This is a fire in Chile that happened in February of this year. More Greece photos, wildfire in Greece. Drop in sea levels in Latin America. This is their largest freshwater basin in Bolivia.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. More flooding from the storm in Libya. Some more in India.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm speechless.
I know. It just keeps going. This is in China. I'll go a little bit faster. I'm trying to read all of these. This is in Spain. Extreme drought. Monster storm tore through Little Rock, Arkansas. So this was a massive storm in Arkansas that happened. Some of the cliffs gave way out here in California. So these are the houses that were on the cliffside. More in Spain. This was in Arizona, the highest temperature ever recorded since the beginning of temperatures being recorded at 120 degrees, I believe, Celsius. Or no, I think it was Fahrenheit on a plant. It's crazy. The wildfire that happened in Canada that ended up turning New York into just a giant smoke-filled hellhole for a day or two, which was absolutely insane. We've never seen anything like that before. Hurricanes in Mexico, which ended up actually hitting us here in California, which was a first in California to really have a legit hurricane. This was in Italy. Heat waves in Italy. Arizona, it says. Oh no, this is the Amazon state of Brazil. Okay. More drought in Brazil. More drought. More flooding in Bulgaria. There's that was a tornado monsoon cloud hitting India. That's India. That's not even like out here in America. That's a whole nother country. More flooding in Northern Ireland. That's a lady walking in Northern Ireland. This is actually the snowstorm that happened that left us stranded out here for 2 weeks out here where I live in the San Bernardino Mountains. That's our communication tower up in the next town over. That's what it looked like out here.
That's actually kind of beautiful in a way.
It is until you get up really close and see how thick that shit is. It was scary as fuck.
I mean, it is kind of eye-catching.
It's very beautiful. Yeah, if you could get yourself out to the really pretty areas to see it, it was gorgeous. But being in it was no fun whatsoever. This was in South Africa. A sea foam from a cold front, and that's all they've got. I know that there was a lot more. One that I did not. They did not bring up that I actually have in here, but I don't even need to bring up the pictures because we've seen enough. Was the Maui fire? That was absolutely horrible. What happened there as well. So this year, man, it's been absolutely insane. Lots of firsts, like I said. Really scary time for natural disasters for people and climate change. So when these kids are going around gluing themselves to paintings and throwing cans of soup on them, you know, maybe we should listen to them a little bit because they're going to be living it.
Now, the two photos you show that kind of seem like a normal would be the maybe not. I was maybe the California earthquake because I think that's kind of fairly typical. I've seen some really horrible earthquakes over the years on the news, and the storm that hit in Arkansas, that seemed like more the usual. But I remember with the cactus kind of looking lifeless in the deserts, that's a worrisome sign right there when the cactus can't take the heat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for
if the
me,
cactus can't take the heat, that's when you know it's pretty bad.
exactly. I'm hoping that it's just the environment. 1 year really kind of fucks up environment and it will plateau itself out. I would like to think that could happen because the reason I say that is I remember when we used to get snow here in North Carolina, and then all of a sudden I went 8 years without seeing snow. I mean, it was just like 1988, my senior year in high school, we had our normal snow times, snowstorms and all of that. From after that, between 1988 and early 1996, and I lived in the town I lived at growing up, went to college 60 miles away, and then moved to central North Carolina, just outside of Raleigh. Did not see any snow for 8 years, and then it started snowing. And it's a shuffle of the dice whether we'll get any snow or not here in North Carolina, in central North Carolina, central and eastern North Carolina. Mountains kind of still relatively normal. So
Yeah, same. I mean, every year it's really a toss up of how much snow we're going to get. But like as much as we got last year and then the amount as we got really quick, I figure we'd already get snow this year. But I mean, it's almost January 1st and we haven't even seen snow yet. I mean, some of the higher elevations have seen some snow, like Big Bear and Snow Mountain and stuff. They're open, but they throw snow out there like during the fall anyway. So they just had extra snow that piled on top of what they already had prepared. So, but we're down here at like almost 5,000 feet. We haven't seen anything yet so far. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm sorry what you went through with the snow earlier this year, and I truly am.
No, it was cool. It was an experience.
But
not one I want to do again, but
I would actually love to have that kind of snow around here. But I'm sorry what you went through, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, you don't. I mean, yeah, I get it, but yeah, you don't want that kind of snow. I mean, like 3-4 feet, even like 4.5 feet, where it gets kind of annoying to have to shovel yourself out. I can tolerate. Like I freaking hate it, but I can tolerate it. I think this last year during that one snowstorm, we got like I think up to 8 or 9 feet. Some places got 12 feet in just like a 5-day period. It was like the first 2 or 3 days we were out there shoveling every night, like getting everything ready and prepared, thinking that we were staying on top of it. But by day 4, there was nowhere to throw the snow. You couldn't throw it any higher on top of the piles that you already had, and it was already up against fences that the other neighbors were throwing on their side onto the fence, and there's just no more room. You couldn't go anywhere. You have to make room to put the snow to be able to get to the place and then move the snow to get it was just too much. It was way too much. You ran out of room. So you never want that much snow. I promise you don't.
I'm gonna tell you what's funny about North Carolina here on the East Coast in North Carolina. A few little dusty flakes, the state shuts down. Everybody gets scared. I mean, they flood the supermarkets. Eggs, bread, milk. Eggs, bread, milk. I mean, they're just acting like the sky is falling if they see a couple little flakes, falling from the sky. It doesn't even have to last. It could just last a couple of hours, and they go into panic mode, and everything closes down for several days.
That sounds about right. We have some like tourists up here that are city people. So, we get a little bit of panickers, but a lot of us were pretty much like pretty prepared, not for the extent. So a lot of the community got together and figured out a way to get each other food and things like that. I would get dog food in Ziploc bags from the neighbors because they had extra, for the liquor store lady down the road, or our grocery store roof collapsed, which I'm proud to say our roof is officially being built right now. I think it's almost done being built. So probably within the next couple of years, our grocery store will be back, which is nice. It's nice to have a grocery store again. So, but yeah, there was just, the snow was unpreparable. We all of us who have always been prepared for any kind of snow was not prepared for the amount of snow that we had. There's an really older gentleman that lives a few houses down. And when we all finally got out of the snow and were able to do our driveways and stuff, he was saying that he had been there since like 1975 and he has never seen that much snow before. So that's saying something for the amount that we got, for sure. It was brutal.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're not going to see that kind of snow again for a long time.
Probably not. I hope not. I'm sure people moved away from here because of that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a one-time thing.
Right.
I don't think you're likely to. I mean, and I'm saying that, but I mean, you never know.
I know. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
Yeah, I won't.
Right. Yeah. All right, so your second
in my direction. Some of that snow could be jinx in my direction.
Yeah, I'll just send some of it your direction. You can have it. I don't want it. All right, so your next one is if words were violent. So why did you pick this one as your one of the best 2023 videos?
Because Turncoat Don, basically, seeing the old school Kyle Kalinske and Kyle Kalinske today. I know it's kind of weird that I started off with a Kyle Kalinske video. I needed something current to start the show with. So, I mean, I used to be a huge fan of Kyle Kalinske. He inspired me to do this show, the Willie Bragg show, and what we're doing now. However, I'm so unhappy with what he's been doing lately. He went from almost every story being really good, to, great, to barely squeaking out with one video or two videos. There might be a hint of what we would call decent these days, and he's such a Biden bro. It just gets on my nerves. He's such a Democrat today. He used to be more independent.
I agree. I completely agree. All right, let's bring this up then. Watch If Words Were Violence, Kyle Kalinske versus Kyle Kalinske.
The former Soviet Union and other authoritarian dictatorial regimes. We're really talking about other people being dictatorial. And Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis, as bad as Biden is, you guys are significantly worse, and it's not even close. The Democrats are just way better. They're just way better. They're a trillion times better than Republicans.
All right, so there's a lot I have to say in response to this. These kinds of criticisms from this guy, I honestly believe that these people usually overstate how bad Trump is, and they understate how bad Biden is. Well, you're more ideologically in agreement with Biden than you are in agreement with Trump. Well, actually, when it comes to the First Step Act, I agree with Trump on that. When it comes to pardoning Alice Johnson, I agree with Trump on that. When it comes to TPP, Trump's against it, Biden's for it. I agree with Trump on that. I agree more with Trump on North Korea than I agree with Biden. I would need to be convinced that Biden would fight for at least one or two of my top 5 issues. Medicare for all, free college, living wage, ending the wars, and UBI. The people who say Trump is a fascist and they think he's like, basically, we can't survive another 4 years of America with him. Yes. The country will survive 4 years with Trump. The country will survive 4 years with Joe Biden. Again, I think they understate how bad Biden is. Why? On so many core issues, he's against us. Me, at least. I can't speak for this guy. Joe Biden pushed for NAFTA. He repeatedly pushed for TPP. He's a supporter of the Iraq War. On all the pivotal issues of his time, he was wrong. So stop overstating how bad Trump is. The country's still going to exist in 4 years. And understating how bad Biden is. Because it's annoying. I just don't agree with the people who are like, he's a fascist, he's a Nazi, the country's not going to exist in 4 years. You're hyperbolic and you're ridiculous.
Oh! You got knocked the fuck out, man!
Jeez.
I mean, it was kind of vicious, but even though it was, I mean, honestly, you can see the comparison contrast to Kyle Kalinske 2020 and Kyle Kalinske in 2023. It is as different as night and day.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is. He's definitely changed. He's not the same person that he used to be. I completely agree.
Yeah, and as soon as he turned into Eminem, he changed his personality and
Oh, that's good. That's a good one. I agree. So, okay. So Kyle Kalinske changing into a shit lib is definitely one of your top 2023 picks. I kind of like it. I dig it.
I don't approve of him turning into a shit lib, but but he transformed into one. I mean, it was just it was just horrible, just disappointing.
Yeah. No, I get it. Okay, so my next one is I'm just going to show some pictures because I actually looked it up and I completely forgot that it was even this year that this happened. So if you all remember, there was a really small group of rich people that had a big, big, big dream this summer. A dream to go thousands of feet below the earth of the water to see a sunken ship from 100 years ago. And they paid a lot of money. And either they realized or they just didn't care of the fact that the man who was in charge of the whole thing had the machine to take them down to fulfill their dream, decided to use a game controller to steer the motherfucker. And I forgot that was this year. So this is one of my top stories from 2023. I just wanted to show a couple of pictures. This pretty much took over the internet this summer. It was hilarious. And then the in-depth coverage of exactly what happened to the people. Man, the internet just went buck wild with this crazy ass thing. I'm pretty sure it was most likely a really long distraction. But it happened, and now that we get to look back at it, we get to laugh. Thanks, Rick. Yes, he's all you're welcome. So this is one of my top stories from 2023, just because of, I mean, yeah, it's sad, it shouldn't have happened, but the laugh factor, because of the morbid irony of the whole situation, was definitely needed in a time like this, in this year, and definitely goes with the year of 2023. So the ocean really had the dub of the year, right? And then the orcas, yeah, for real. I know I've been trying to contemplate like who had the best year this far, and yeah, it might be the ocean, but I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, what do you have to say?
Well, for starters, it proves one thing: just because people are billionaires or have hundreds of millions of dollars at their disposal doesn't make them the brightest bulb in the Christmas tree.
That's fucking true.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. And the reaction of some people when people were making jokes about these people dying, obviously, I don't want anybody to die, but I you know, they're like, the idea of punching up is offensive to them. That's the problem with the United States. You know, it's like we can't hurt rich people's feelings, but they can sit there and trounce on the people who are the most vulnerable in society. And we really have an ass backwards in the United States in many ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
the younger crowd was laughing about the whole thing. I mean, we should have. I mean, if we're gonna sit here and say eat the rich, and then a bunch of rich people die because of a dumb decision that they decided to make, like, we deserve to have the right to celebrate. I'm sorry, but that's just our right.
My version of eating the rich is to take their billions away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, I was going for the more Ed Gein route, but I mean, yeah, you might be right. I might be frowned upon if I do it that way.
No, I understand the rage. I understand the rage. It's just, to me, just confiscating their billions, that's good enough. I mean,
right.
You know, and especially when it pisses off the wrong people, the idea of stripping away billions or the hundreds of millions from people who are not really all that smart. You know, whether we're talking about Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg or any of these motherfuckers. I mean, this whole idea. Well, they earn that money, and you want to punish the rich? Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Because they harm us.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so your next one for 2023 is Blue Moon Red Wine, also known as Lucy, went to protest at an AOC
town hall.
What, town hall? Okay. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think we all know who Lucy is, Blue Moon Red Wine, and she actually confronted AOC, and here's the story behind it. So, both of them, AOC is Puerto Rican, Lucy is Argentinian, so they have the common language, Spanish. They're both Hispanic, but the difference is that AOC's Spanish is extremely shoddy. I mean, she lived here in the United States all her life, and the English is still the predominant language, and so I mean, she's smarter than I am. I really don't. I'm half Hispanic. I don't really know. I know less Spanish than AOC. But having that said, Lucy decided to trap AOC by asking her questions in Spanish that would actually kind of throw everybody else off guard, and it was a brilliant strategy, and it pissed AOC off, which she deserved to be angry. She deserves any distress that she gets from it. She deserves it for letting us all down on the left. But I believe that they escorted Lucy out of the town hall, and she's been banned from any event that has AOC featured in there. But you know what? Kudos for Lucy for what she did.
Absolutely, I agree. Here is the video of her interrupting AOC at her town hall.
Hacen una ley de amnistía. ¿Una qué? Una ley de amnistía, una ley de migración hace 40 años. No, necesito hablar, necesito escucharme. Yo vine para hacer una pregunta. Señora, yo vine para hacer una pregunta. Hace 40 años que no hay una ley de amnistía en este país. ¿Ok? Todavía no hay una ley de amnistía en este país. Y el Partido Demócrata mandó $100 billones a nazis en Ucrania, que esta señora votó para eso. En este país necesitamos un tercer partido al estilo de AMLO en México y Petro en Colombia y Boric en Chile. El Partido Demócrata no está haciendo nada por nosotros. Nosotros nos estamos registrando independiente porque el Partido Demócrata no hace nada por nosotros. No, señora, no. Necesitamos registrarnos independientes. Yo voy a estar afuera. Yo voy a estar afuera registrando a la gente independiente. No,
why does she gotta leave?
no, necesito hacer una
She's
pregunta.
addressing her
En
government
este país,
for redress of grievance.
no.
She's
That sucks that they clapped when she walked away.
I clapped for her for what she did to AOC.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe some of them were clapping for that reason. I don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I was trying to think, were they clap? I asked that question to myself. Were they clapping because they clapping at her being escorted out, or did they realize she had a point and all that? Because basically, she was saying, how AOC let everyone down and voted for funding of neo-Nazis in the Ukraine and have done nothing for the people. And she's calling for the left to break with the Democratic Party to form our own party, which I totally agree with. And, think about it. She's a very sweet person, but I think she's somebody you don't want to make angry at the same time.
Definitely. I completely agree with that. She's got that intimidating mom kind of voice, and you don't want to, you just, yes, ma'am. Okay. I'm listening kind of with her. Yeah, for sure. She's the right person to do it.
I showed that to a friend of mine one time. Said, I know this person, from being on my show occasionally, and he commented on it, and I was cracking up. His response to it said it's almost like Lucy Ricardo fucked up, and Ricky Ricardo getting angry at Lucy by yelling at her in Spanish. I don't know if you remember that on I Love Lucy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh God, that's so funny.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I agree. That was a good one. All right, my next one is also short. Man, a couple of mine are just readers, so they're not like long or videos or anything like that. So because they're just more articles. But this year, let me just open it up and read it because it's a short paragraph. But the Britannica shared it. One of the really cool things that I saw that happened this year was India became the 4th country in the world to land on the moon. I'm pretty sure it was just a rover. Oh, wrong thing. Let me grab the right one. I'm pretty sure it was just a rover. I don't think anyone specifically landed on it. I'm not sure. But okay, so this right here, I don't want to fuck up the name. Launched on July 14th, 2020, or yeah, 2023. The spacecraft consists of a Vikram lander and a rover. The lander touched down on the moon on August 23rd. It became the first spacecraft to land in the moon's south polar region where water ice could be found under the surface. The landing site was farthest south than any other lunar probe had touched down, and India was the fourth country to have landed a spacecraft on the moon after United States, Russia, and China. So I know I said fuck them hard ass names. That's too hard. I don't like messing it up because people get all mad and shit too sometimes. So if you know it, say it. Yeah, butcher and shit. I fuck everything up. So that to me was really cool, seeing that India was the fourth country to land something on the moon. I thought that was really neat. Go India for catching up to the rest of everybody else technology wise. I can't wait for other countries to get their own versions and, start exploring space and the sea too. The ocean would be nice as well.
Well, how I stand on this, and I'm very deeply critical of the military-industrial complex. But the one thing, the one area where I have no problem, because they're kind of connected with the military, would be, I thought it was kind of dumb for the United States to stop exploring the moon after 1972. They could have continued on, because we would have been on Mars. I don't care which country gets to be on Mars first. I don't think there's anything wrong with a space program from any of these various countries, because that's could only mean more benefit for human civilization down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Population, what have you. It sounds like the Mars could be habitable somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
I agree. Yep.
Yeah.
So that was cool. That was something that happened this year in 2023. Another new country land on the moon. Mm-hmm.
That is cool. Yeah, I hope to see more countries do that. Yeah. It may encourage the United States to get their act together with NASA in a positive way, not use it for nefarious purposes.
Yeah, exactly. Like the space race and the space wars and stuff like that. I agree.
No Space Force. Trump wants Space Force. I'm like, what the fuck?
I know. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right, so your next one, really quick side note, it starts at like 6:42. Do you want me to start it from the beginning?
Yeah. Which one is it now? I'm trying to remember.
The Amazing Atheist.
Yes, start it from the beginning.
All right, you got it. All right, go for it. Set us up for this next one.
Yeah. It's the amazing
John Fetterman fooled us all, y'all.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to mention, is that he is a disappointment. He might have been the one Democrat in 2022 that I had some hope in. And he turned out to be deeply disappointing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I had no hope really that much in John Fetterman. He just seemed like a typical shitlib who said he was progressive, just walked around in sweatpants and a sweatshirt or a hoodie and shit in comfy clothes. So that it reminded me of a lot of people who get famous through politics for no reason. They kind of set them up in their own little outfits that they like. That's like, here, stand out with this. Like AOC's is the red lipstick.
True.
The tan suit with Obama, or the green military uniform with Zelensky. It's all, they all have this little something that makes them stand out, so we get to recognize them with that certain thing. And yeah, with John Fetterman, it just seemed like another shitlib that had his own cool, unique style that everybody else does when they're sitting at home by themselves, that somehow we all love and adore him for it. I mean, there was even like a vote in Congress or something about whether or not like for attire, for dress code. Mm-hmm. It wasted like a whole day's worth of politics instead of getting something done that should have been done. It was like such a waste of time for me. So yeah, as soon as John Fetterman didn't seem anything different to me.
Yeah. As far as to me, the initial impression was like, Wow, that's like Jesse Ventura with the policies of Bernie Sanders. That's how I was thinking of him initially. And he turned out to be a very disappointing, maybe not the worst in the Senate, obviously, but
Right.
yeah, but just too much of another standard Democrat. We've had enough with standard Democrats in the House and the Senate.
Right. I agree. All right. So here is the video with the amazing atheist talking about how John Fetterman fooled us all.
Breaks with left, showing a maverick side. Ooh, wee. He's a maverick now, is he? Okay. The last politician they were calling a maverick was John McCain, which makes me feel like the definition of a maverick in the political world is very different than the definition of a maverick literally anywhere else. I'm a maverick. Why is he a maverick? Okay. Because of his fierce support of Israel. Yeah, the dude is a maverick because he believes what literally most politicians, whether they be Democrats or Republicans, believe. Wow. What a maverick. Mavericks for the majority. That's what I always say.
Mm-hmm.
And he is also broken with them on immigration, saying that he wants tougher border policy. So basically, he's gone mainstream Democrat on Israel. He's gone full-on Republican on immigration. And he has let us know in no uncertain terms, I'm not a progressive. I just think I'm a Democrat that is very committed to choice and other things. But with Israel, I'm going to be on the right side of that. Which definition of the word right are we using there? Right or right? And immigration is something near and dear to me. And I think we do have to effectively address it as well. I mean, this guy, what a fucking brilliant fraudster, man. A lot of people have asked me, hey, where do you do your live streams? And the answer.
Yeah. Oh, I can't hear you.
I am so sorry. So my question is why do we keep falling for this kind of stuff, like with John Fetterman? Like Kirsten Sinema did it to us, AOC did it to us. Like, how many more times are we going to keep falling for these guys that claim progressive during their campaigns and then switch over to shit liberty, APEC lovers and border patrollers when they're actually in it? Like, how many more times are we going to have to fall for this until we start learning our lesson that when they say they're progressive and when they say this stuff during the campaign, they're just saying it to get that extra vote to get elected, because they know that the progressive vote is such a big fucking voter base. So yeah, they're going to say whatever they can to get those, just like Trump is doing whatever he can to get the Christian base. It's the same thing on both sides. They're just not as Democrats aren't as open about it. I'm just so surprised that people even fell for this stuff, because it's we've seen it so many fucking times.
I fell for it, unfortunately, with Fetterman. He seemed legit at the time. Today, I make fun of him. I'm not making fun of his stroke. I'm sorry anybody has a stroke, but I'm making fun of him, people taking him seriously. To me, when I hear Maverick, and usually Maverick is just a basically conventional wisdom way of saying we're going to punch left, because that's exactly what everybody wants to do. They want to punch left. AOC punched left. Bosch did a video recently where he was like, oh, I don't blame AOC for punching left, basically. I mean, he didn't say those words, but that's how it was translated. And with Israel, that's Washington consensus talk. Even some of the better people, unfortunately, in Congress are too afraid to stand up to Israel. With the immigration, getting hard line on immigration, I mean, that's basically just unacceptable, because the immigrants are not the problem in the United States. The problem is America's foreign policy toward Latin America, smacking down Latin America at every turn. And, and some people's answer, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, wants to go and invade the border. I mean, it's just like, what the hell, I mean, so far for that anti-war right that brag that they are now anti-war. They want to go and invade the Mexican border. What the hell is that about?
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw this shit right here. This is I'm gonna butcher this name. I'm so sorry. Issy Bahir Breen says, funny, he was progressive when he was asking me for my fucking money. There are so many goddamn tweets, you guys. So many goddamn tweets of this motherfucker calling himself a progressive. Here's one. Ready to keep fighting for a stronger Pennsylvania? Chip in whatever you can to help us take this progressive momentum all the way to the ballot box. Great hair, the greatest hair. Retweet if you're standing with these progressive champions. Bernie and Fetterman, okay. 2009, progressive rhetoric is great and all, but progressive results are 100%. We have started a progressive movement here in Pennsylvania. It's not going away. We're not going away. This isn't over. This isn't how our story ends. My dude, I'm a progressive Democrat, and rate my Skype room gave me 1 out of 10 plus, claimed it looked like I was in a hostage situation. Unions invented the weekend and gave it away for free to all. Unions invented worker safety and gave it away for free to all. Unions invented worker dignity and gave it away for free to all. Progressive, simple, sacred, the union way of life. Progressive, democratic outcomes with deeply divided governments. Switch legislatorial composition with California and see how many progressive grand slams to be cracking over the fence. Progressive values have been at the heart of my campaign. Whatever happens on May 15th, I'm proud to be here tonight with Bernie Sanders. Typical, another annoying progressive, looking out for working families again. For that special progressive on your gift list. John Fetterman shirts. If I'm lucky enough to be elected, I'm able to be a solid progressive backup for PA, for Governor Wolf. It provides a state platform to advocate for the issues I care about, a living wage, marijuana legalization, immigration, and community policing. Philly, come out here to the Irish pub right now to hear about my progressive vision to build Pennsylvania back. This guy, I watched another commentator talk about this issue. It was, I think it was the Rational National. I heard talk about this. And he said, oh man, when John Fetterman comes back up for re-election, you can bet I'm going to support, a primary challenger against him. Fuck that. This motherfucker's a liar and he should be fucking impeached from office. This motherfucker ran as a progressive, called himself a progressive multiple times. And even him and his wife both championed the progressive values on immigration and criticized the Trump administration for their hardline right-wing immigration policies. And now he's saying he's not a progressive, never was a progressive, and he's totally flipped the script on his immigration issues. So for me, fuck that. Impeach this son of a bitch. Recall. It's time for a fucking, I don't know what the Pennsylvania mechanism is for a recall election, but someone should get the ball rolling on that. If anyone here is a Pennsylvania Democrat or a Pennsylvania, I don't know what you have to be. I don't know what the criteria are, but there's probably some means of recalling a senator in the state of Pennsylvania. And if there is, whoever, it should be looked into. It should be done because the evidence is fucking damning. Giselle Fetterman lived in America undocumented for years after fleeing violence in Brazil when she was 7. I wouldn't have a family if it weren't for immigration. It's what makes America, America. And now he's hardline anti-immigration. This dude literally, it was like owing the existence of his entire family. Maybe he hates his wife now. I don't know. Is that what happened, John Fetterman? Do you now just think your wife is a fucking cunt, so that's why you've changed your mind? Because you wish you'd never met her? Or was this all just bullshit? Or have you just decided that you can make more money being anti? What's the deal? What's with the change? Because this used to be such a personal issue for you. But now I guess you're just going to throw your wife and your entire family under the bus for your own political aspirations. You know what? No. This guy should be impeached. This guy should be recalled. I don't know. Let me ask hold on. I'm going to open up Chat GPT and ask it how to fucking recall a senator in Pennsylvania. Okay, so in the United States, there's no legal mechanism for the recall of a U.S. senator or representative from any state, including Pennsylvania. The U.S. Constitution, which set the rules for federal office holders, does not provide a process for recalling members of Congress. That sucks. I had no idea that you couldn't recall a fucking senator from any fucking state. For a U.S. senator from Pennsylvania or any other state to be removed from office before the end of their term, it would require either voluntary resignation or expulsion vote by the Senate. There's no provision in the U.S. Constitution or federal law that recall. You know what? Okay, well then fuck this. This is no longer. We need a system. We need a recall system. We need a fucking recall system in this country so that if the voters are lied to about a motherfucker like John Fetterman, if a motherfucker like John Fetterman comes and sells you a bunch of snake oil and says, I'm progressive and I love immigrants, and then, lo and behold, a few months later, his ass is like, progressive? I ain't a fucking progressive. I fucking hate immigrants. It's like, oh shit. He's not what he said he was at all. He's demonstrably a liar. Let's get rid of him. There should be a mechanism to do that. So I don't know if we need a new constitutional amendment or we just need some new legislation, but that's my new goal. My new goal is that the next time this happens, we can recall the son of a bitch. So I don't know. I'm going to look into this. I'm going to look into being a tireless advocate for a recall system for senators and Congress people, so that we can do that. Senators and representatives. Those are all Congress people. Can't believe I gave money to that lion snake in the grass. I know, right? I mean, I knew people who were super into that guy. I mean, look, to be fair, on the subject of Israel, we did know beforehand that he was Zionist and pro-Israel and stuff, but we didn't know the extent, and we didn't know he was a fucking liar on some other issues. So he needs to go.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's good. That's very good. I like that he came to the conclusion that Congress and Senate don't have a recall process, which is crazy to me because, I mean, I just remember a couple years ago we were recalling Gavin Newsom, but that's a governor. So if there's already a recall process for governors, then why isn't there for Congress and Senate? It's a good question.
There was also a recall a while back, like maybe 2 decades earlier in California, for the I forgot the name of the Democratic governor prior to Arnold Schwarzenegger, but there was a recall back then too, and I think I'm trying to think. Yeah, there was a recall because what's his name? Arnold became governor as a result. I believe that's how that worked out. Gray Davis, remember him?
Nope.
Yeah. So, that was 2 decades ago, about 20 some years ago. Yeah, I think it was maybe it was in 2003, 2004, something like that, when that happened. Yeah, but it'd be nice to have a recall because I'm tired of being lied to. Tired of being lied to and misled by, it's like the left is the battered housewife to the Democrats who beats up on the left and say, "Hey, we love you. We're looking out for you." And then they do their asshole husband thing to the wife.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Fuck John Fetterman. I agree though. There should be like a recall process for anybody that lies to us, because then we have a process of getting them out. That's not fair.
And I agree. Fuck John Fetterman.
Yep.
I didn't say that 2 years ago, but I say that now. I gave him a chance, and he's a disappointment, just like Bernie's a disappointment, just like Elizabeth Warren's a disappointment, and everybody from the fraud is a disappointment. And the Progressive Caucus, which used to be kind of decent when they allowed the Congresswoman from Ohio, Chantel Brown, who was with the New Democrat Network, which is corporate Democrats, and then they said, "Oh, we're going to allow her in the Progressive Caucus." How in the world can you allow somebody from the New Democrat Network into the Progressive Caucus? So the Progressive Caucus basically sealed their own fate, and they became absolutely worthless. I'm tired of these Democrats just disappointing us, and if we complain about it, we're accused of being like secret crypto Republicans. No, we're not.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, my next story is another really quick one again, but something that I personally was happy about this year that happened was Henry Kissinger died. Yay!
War criminal himself, the John Bolton before John Bolton.
Yep. I don't have a video to go with this because I really didn't feel like wasting minutes of my life watching a video about this old news. But it was a really good, important part. I know that that Satan in hell is very happy. The death meme is officially dead now because he got who he wanted. But no, this was definitely something big, good, that at least something good that happened this year. So.
Yeah, he made it to 100 though. I mean, just at 100 he made it. Here's my question. The only positive thing before he died was that he favored peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. And that was just too much for the right wing in the Ukraine. So he was placed on that special list. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
He was right up there with Jimmy Dore and Scott Ritter and Tulsi Gabbard and Glenn Greenwald, Rand Paul, a bunch of people, even somebody as centrist as Gerhard Schroeder of Germany. I mean, they were all on that special list. And usually when somebody, dies that's on that list, the website puts up liquidated. I wonder if they put him up as liquidated on that website.
I have no idea.
Yeah, even though they didn't, do that to him.
Yeah. I mean, possibly. I don't know. It might be because Ukraine is starting to get back into the news again after the little escapade this morning. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
What happened this morning?
I guess Russia bombed a bunch of major cities in Ukraine, and I don't know, some people died and things like that. So they're all up in arms again about it. The people online are yelling at Russia and fighting over it on Twitter and stuff. It's all back on again.
Oh my! I was hopeful that there will be some kind of a peaceful outcome in between Russia and Ukraine, because we weren't hearing about it for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I know. That's what I was hoping for, but no, it went. Desert Mantis, what's up? He says that he is labeled deceased.
Oh, okay, deceased. That meant that they were probably celebrating, and so if they went through the trouble putting deceased. Okay, thank you, Desert Mantis. I appreciate that. I was kind of wondering.
Yeah, same.
Mm.
I don't even know what site you can find that on. That's really actually pretty
Myra
interesting.
Revets. Myra Revets is the name of the website. Yeah, and if you want me to, I can forward you the link later on.
Yeah, please. Because I'm not going to remember that word at all. Okay.
It took me a while to pronounce it. I mean, I had to rehearse myself saying it.
Yep. Okay, so your next one has to do with due dissidents asking demonstrators at Trump's arraignment if George Bush should be prosecuted. So if Trump should be, or Bush should be prosecuted next and it didn't go well, why is this a top 2023 video for you?
It was just mocking and shit liberty. That's what I liked about the video. Because it's kind of like they're going after Trump and having a cavalier attitude toward George W. Bush, who, in my opinion, is to the right of Trump. Trump really didn't have I mean, some of the activists out there obviously were LGBTQ activists. And here's the thing: if they think about it, Trump is a lot less homophobic than George W. Bush. George W. Bush, when Ellen DeGeneres was sitting there hanging out with George W. Bush out of her hatred of Trump, I was like, years ago, I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, George W. Bush actively worked to deprive people like Ellen DeGeneres of her rights. So why the hell she wants to sit there? I can never be forgiving of somebody if I was LGBTQ, I certainly would not be forgiving of Bush from that point of view. So I don't know. I just, but basically, it's just the liberal activists basically, trying to virtue signal their hatred toward Trump, and there's plenty to criticize Trump on, but to have a cavalier attitude toward George W. Bush, I don't get it, and they do that with Liz Cheney. They rehabilitate all these formerly right-wing people that were the toast of Rush Limbaugh years ago. And then they're like, oh, well, they're okay now. Shit liberty gets on my nerves.
It does, yes. Okay, so I started it right where they were at the thing.
Yeah.
if justice is served, he's really for this and all the other crimes that he's accused of.
So do you think we should arrest George Bush next?
Why? What's this whataboutism? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, but should we? I mean, if we're going to hold people accountable.
You know better than that?
You don't think we should?
I'm not going to debate it by you. I don't care what you think.
Okay, so you don't think we should arrest George Bush for war crimes?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. What do you think? Do you feel that he should be arrested?
If a grand jury of average New Yorkers indicts him, then he should be arrested.
Exactly. Well, you know, Michelle Obama called her partner in crime.
Oh, you're going after a black woman now, of course, because he's a white supremacist.
So do you think that's why?
You have to demonize the black woman try to get a white crime.
So if you criticize Candace Owens, you're a white supremacist?
And your audience.
What if you criticize Candace Owens?
Whereas Candace Owens is a pathetic
Right. What if you what? This is what happens. Questions.
Wow.
You cannot answer.
That is so loud.
I can do whatever I want.
I'm just going to ask you to take a step back.
Well, you have no right to do that.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
You're in my space, and I'm going to ask
You're in my space. I'm not in your space. I asked if we should arrest George Bush. They went crazy. I guess they like George Bush.
All right, let me just pause this for a second. You realize how just like non-hostile the question was, and immediately,
Immediately, berserk.
Nuts. Yeah,
they went berserk. Like
you didn't
fucking
ask
berserk.
It's not like you had a MAGA hat on and you were there to troll them, or that you posed the question in a trolling way.
Or even that I asked, should they arrest Obama? Like, you still shouldn't act like a demented 3-year-old. But you could, that's baiting, right? Like, clearly they're liberal people, Democrats, right? It should be so easy. Yes.
Right, that's
of course. Instead, they qualify it. Well, if a grand jury finds him and that he's George Bush, just say yes.
Right.
Just
We
say
don't
yes.
know
It's
anything.
that simple.
We don't know anything. So we'll defer to a grand jury because we know absolutely nothing of what we're talking about. We have no real reason why we're here.
That's what they kept coming back to. Well, if a grand jury indicts him, they could not simply say, yes, George Bush is guilty of war crimes and he should be arrested. And yet they felt passionately enough about Donald Trump getting arrested for payoffs to a porn star that they dragged a banner down to the courthouse and they're standing out there ringing cowbells like an idiot over that. But you ask them, well, should George Bush be arrested? Well, he danced with Ella, so no.
Right, exactly.
Michelle Obama likes him, so no. And if you mention Michelle Obama, you're a white supremacist. Are you guys Republicans? Are you Republicans? Like, why do you not want to arrest George Bush? You know what? That sounds smarter than you do. So, do you think we should arrest George Bush? No answers on that? You don't know if we should arrest George Bush?
That's like a
You're not sure?
character.
Michelle Obama called him her partner in crime. I think she was saying, let's arrest him. Are we arresting George Bush next? I hope so. He's guilty of war crimes. Do we care about that?
Do you feel George Bush is guilty of war crimes?
Hang on. All right, so she's a MAGA person, and I don't in any way want to be deceptive. Like, look, she was nice. We had a nice conversation. She's a birther. You know, we're gonna drop the unedited versions of this, so you'll see for yourself what the whole conversation was. But I want to be clear. Like, I don't agree with her on a lot of things. You know, we were talking about, she believed in birtherism and all of this kind of stuff. But she also believed that all of these people should be locked up. The Clintons, the Bushes, and the whole system is too corrupt to be redeemed, and we should start over again. So who can you deal with? This woman who doesn't freak out when I tell her I came out of the Bernie movement, as you'll see later. She didn't go nuts. She didn't pull out a cowbell. She didn't lose her mind when I told her I came out of the Bernie movement. She didn't lose her shit. So look, if you're going to try to persuade people, you can't persuade people you can't talk to. Mm-hmm. This woman, maybe you can't persuade her, but it's possible. Those people across the street, you might as well try to persuade a Scientologist. That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with people in a cult. You're dealing with very damaged people with severe emotional problems. And that's why they're attracted to a movement and an ideology that emphasizes safe spaces and personal truth, because they don't have the confidence and they don't have the emotional stability to function in the world like adult human beings.
You feel George Bush is guilty of war crimes?
Possibly, yeah. Actually, yeah.
What about Dick Cheney?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
So, can I ask you a question? Absolutely. Do you think we should arrest George Bush?
George Bush?
Yes!
Hey, I agree that's not a hard question, but I've had some people who have a very hard time with that question.
George Bush committed a crime. Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Anybody who commits a crime in the U.S. should be arrested and prosecuted. Now, whether he committed a crime or not, I don't know. I haven't heard, but I'm sure you're probably going to tell me he committed a crime somewhere in Mars. Maybe he took a leg up there.
The part of Mars they call Iraq, maybe.
He committed a crime in Mars.
Do you feel that George Bush should also be arrested? Hang on. No. All right, so they're Trump supporters. You know, there's an earlier part of this where I did get them saying that they don't think that Donald Trump should have been arrested. So yeah, this is the Trump side of the park. They basically divided Collect Pond Park across the street from the courthouse. It's a MAGA and
Blue MAGA
and Blue MAGA, exactly.
Yeah.
Red MAGA, Blue MAGA. That's exactly how it felt. But I wanted to show this because later on you're going to see I have another encounter with psycho Blue MAGA people, and I want you to see I didn't softball it with the conservatives. I talked to them the same way that I talked to the liberals. But they didn't lose their shit. They kept talking to me, even though I was challenging what they were saying. I wasn't challenging what they were saying in a dick way. I was having a political conversation. And I will tell you something else. And you can see some of that in the other footage that we put out. You know what was happening on the MAGA side? And I'm not saying ideologically, I agree with them on some things, not on other things. There was a lot of conversation going on. There were a lot of people standing there debating charter schools versus public schools. And on the other side, there is no conversation. On the lib side, there was no conversation because how can you have a conversation when everybody's supposed to agree on everything? If you do have a thought that might be original, you'd be afraid to express it, right? Maybe you get cast out.
Right, exactly.
So there's no talking. There's only emoting. That's
right.
It. There's emoting, but there's no talking.
Exactly. All right, here we go.
Also be arrested.
No.
Why?
Why should he do anything?
Well, you don't feel he committed war crimes in Iraq?
Doesn't mean he should be arrested.
You don't think people should be arrested for war crimes?
He didn't commit what war crimes?
Ordering torture. That's a war crime.
They're not ordering torture.
Well, he did, though. I mean, we know that they tortured people in Iraq and he signed off.
How do you know that?
I mean, that's a matter of record. That's not even a matter of debate.
Show it to us.
What's that?
Show it to us.
I mean, you have the Googles, right? You can go on the Googles. I mean, it's not like we know. We have the pictures of the people being tortured in Iraq. Like, it's not even a question.
Maybe they should go look at every single thing Obama did and try to arrest him also.
Well, I wouldn't argue with that.
Maybe we should go every single person here. Every single person should. War crimes aren't right here. Every single person. Maybe try to arrest them.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think most people have committed war crimes, do you?
Maybe yesterday someone here was speeding. We have to go give them a ticket. I think the cops are going to have to check every single camera in New York City and try to find every single person.
So would you compare ordering torture in a war zone to speeding?
No, but the point is that we're not here to look out for people. If someone does something, because a former president should try to arrest a former president.
Do you feel that George Bush should be arrested?
George Bush? I don't give a fuck. We're here today celebrating. It's not about who else should be fucking arrested. Apparently, our system of justice has attempted in some way to hold someone accountable for crimes they believe they have evidence for. So let's let the system work. If everybody thinks it works so fucking well, let's see if it works.
So let me.
Some kind of weird thought experiment you're doing with an agenda.
See, right here, starts to lose our shit. Yeah. I'm not okay. So.
We're not entitled to our time.
All right. So let me just tell you something. The only I'm actually on the left, but the only people I've asked this question who reacted this way were people on the liberal side. Nobody else I've asked this question has reacted this way.
You seen the light now? You're away from Bernie yet? Or you're still socialist?
Well, I'm a democratic socialist.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
But on the other side there, I asked them one question. I asked them if they thought George Bush should be arrested. And now they're the left over there on the other side.
Right,
I asked them the same question I asked you. They went crazy. They were ringing cowbells. They're blowing bullhorns.
Because they're insane.
Look at this. Look at this. So do you feel this is good for the left to be presenting themselves this way? Well, yes, but they're protesting too, and they didn't behave that way. I asked them if they thought George Bush should be arrested. That's what triggered this. And it's the second time today that I got this from people presenting themselves as being on the left. So something I often say on my show, which is a left show, this is not good for us. We need to distance the left from these people and explain we're not with them. So, there you have it.
That's very, very interesting. I forgot about that completely.
Yeah, the only issue I had with the video was my slight disagreement with the premise of the video was it was a little bit too straw manish in the sense that it was like, well, this is exactly how they are all on the shitlib side, and this was how they were on the Trump side. I have ran across plenty of demented MAGA people over the years, and I you know, so I think it was just, I think he was a slightly, just slightly. I mean, I know the point he was trying to make, but in trying to make the point, I think he was, it was a little more soft pedaling of the Trumpies more than they deserve to be treated. I mean, some of them, I do agree. Some, you might run across some reasonable people that unfortunately voted for Trump, but honestly, there are people who are just as demented on the right wing side as they are on the shitlib side, which is why I'm neither a right winger nor a shitlib.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't like the kind of the praising of the right on the video. It just shows that one experience they were willing to talk or whatever. But yeah, no, there's craziness on both sides, and yeah, no, it was good to see the atmosphere during that time, because you don't get to see the left kind of say the quiet stuff out loud or be the crazy, wild in your face types. And so to see them kind of break character was pretty interesting. So.
Yeah, I mean, I get what they were trying to do, and overall, I mean, with Keaton and Russell, I agree. Overall, what the point they were trying to make, I just think that maybe, there's this thing called nuance, and I understand that. But as I said, I ran across plenty of nutcases from across the political spectrum. I mean, I even have people who are not that distant from what I ideologically agree with that will attack me on some very small, minor points, what they call the narcissism of small differences. So,
yeah, no, I agree. I have family members that would be like how the left acted right there on the video, but they're right wing, they're Trump supporters. So, and they are just as bad. So, yeah. But that was good. That was good. I'm glad that you pointed that out, as seeing the left be show face for a little bit in a video, and Russell being able to get that. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. So, it's still, in spite of any differences I have there with the video, it's still one of my overall still favorite videos of the year.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So my next one is, it is a quick video, 2.5 minutes long. And it is from ABC News. I kind of skimmed through it a little bit, but I kind of wanted to get all of them together in kind of one compilation video. So what I thought really stood out this year in 2023 was the amount of strikes that happened. And ABC News kind of did a pretty decent little compilation of all of them, and calling it 2023, the year of the strike, which was, it's just good to see. I'm hoping the momentum kind of sticks and stays and keeps going and just builds and gets stronger, because this is kind of what the regular workers need to gain our power back and to be able to demand the basic necessities to be able to live, which is so gotten out of hand, especially within the last 20 years or more. So here's a video of ABC News version of the 2023, the year of the strike. Escalation arose, a wide dissatisfaction, sluggish wage. Workers took a step that usually scares them and are concerned about losing their livelihoods, but they did it anyway. Let's see if I can make this bigger. There you go. So yeah, the SAG strike, the auto workers strike. Yep. Healthcare workers strike. Writers strike for the Writers Guild. That was a big one. That was very successful. I like that. We're in an era where people are seeing the strike as a tool once again. It's so good. So yeah, I like the little compilation of all the different strikes that happened this year. Like I said, I hope the momentum goes. I hope they get bigger, stronger. They ask for more. They demand more. People start being able to have a living wage, benefits to help their families, UBIs, federal job guarantees. Just start hooking people up. I think a lot of people in America are really starting to realize that we need to start taking care of ourselves. The government is there for a reason. If Elon Musk and Zuckerberg and the Apple guy can sit there and ask for subsidies from the government in the name of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, and same with other countries, then we can ask for better wages, better healthcare, better housing, better everything that is a necessity to be able to live every day. Food prices would be a really good thing to go down. So yeah, I think the strikes is a good start for empowering workers again. And I'm really proud of a lot of them this year.
Totally agreed. And that might be the one thing that accidentally transpire under Biden. And Farron Cousins said something about that. That for the first time in over, for the first time in almost 40 years, the National Labor Relations Boards they're not being appointed with corporate attorneys like they used to. I mean, Reagan started putting corporate attorneys in there. Bush 1, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden. It's probably going to only be the only nice thing you're going to ever hear me say about him. He started putting ordinary attorneys like it used to be at one time. He used to put the presidents, both parties used to put ordinary attorneys appointed into the National Labor Relations Board, as opposed to corporate attorneys. And that's why there's been an upswing in union recognition. I mean, it's not as big as we would want it to be, but it is big news because it's actually working in favor of unions instead of busting them. Although we want more victories, right
Definitely.
now.
Yeah, we definitely could use more victories.
In the 1970s, a third of the American workforce was unionized. About 33% of the workforce was unionized in the 1970s. And then under Reagan, disseminated down into 20%, and it continued on to this day. And now in the private sector, it's like 6% of the workforce is unionized, 5% of the government sector is unionized. And we got to do better than 11% of the workforce in this country.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it was, it's definitely not, or it definitely is because of the fault of corporate CEOs and businesses and things like that, and the manipulation tactics and propaganda that has been used on the workers of, the quote unquote, we are a family, why do we need to unionize kind of thing. So, it's not fully the people's fault, because there's definitely very high manipulation tactics and work behind the scenes going on in the upper echelons of the workforce. But I'm hoping people are starting to realize the importance of unions now. I think just a lot of people, especially the younger generations, just didn't know about the importance of it. So, and you can't, hate on people for what they don't know. And I think people are starting to realize now. I mean, we saw it with the Starbucks workers too. So the youth is starting to realize the importance of unions. It took us, 100 years, but I think the kids are all right, as they say.
A funny story about that. Well, about a decade, my previous job was unionized. I was a member of the United Food Commercial Workers Local 204 for about 20 years, and I was asked by one of my coworkers, who was significantly younger. It's like, what is a union, and why do you like them so much? I was literally asked this. This is the downside of living in a right to work state, like North Carolina is a right to work state. That some people don't even know what a union is and the benefits of it. And I remember. Well, it's not what I remember. It's a little bit before my time. There was a time that most major newspapers in the country had a specific labor section where you can read up on the labor movement, and they don't even have that today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
Yep. A lot of people don't know about it. I mean, they were the Soho strippers out here in Los Angeles. They just unionized. So they're actually back on strike again for better demands, but they want to. So yeah, people are starting to realize it. I mean, if strippers are starting, that's a really hard thing to get unionized, is the gig economy, because a lot of people are in the gig economy, independent contractors and things like that. So it's really hard to get into that in those, but they're starting to figure it out. Everybody's starting to figure it out, and I'm really proud. This was a great year for strikes, for sure. So
yeah, I won't say where I work because I don't want to get in trouble with criticizing my company, but I see the difference between a non-union and a unionized company, and and without any reservations, I will say, just the healthcare loan, I'm paying more for healthcare now and getting less coverage because we don't have a union. I mean, it's not the worst health package in the world, but it's certainly very expensive compared to what I had previously. I don't have a pension in this new job, but I did have a pension in my previous job, for example. So I mean, there were, and I have that to look forward to in a couple of years. So I mean, it's just kind of, you see the difference of night and day between a unionized environment and a non-unionized environment. I mean, there are some things I do like about the current job, but overall, unions is what's needed to repair the massive income inequality across the board in this country.
I agree. Yeah. All right, so the next one, because we got a few more to go. We got about 20 more minutes, a little more than 20 more minutes. So the next one is, we are trash communists.
Yeah, that's the Yankee Tanky. He's funny. Look, I mean, the guy Kevin Logan that interviewed him is a horrible shit lib. He's a British shit lib, and the Yankee Tanky was taking him on. He's been taking on people like Dylan Burns, who's also horrible, and I don't agree with the Yankee Tanky on every issue. Obviously, I'm not a MAGA communist, and there's a few areas where he's, we don't see eye to eye, but we respect each other, and he complimented me once, saying that I seem like I'm closer to a Jimmy Dore than anything else, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a high compliment. So, it just, I was like, gross. What happened?
I said gross.
Oh, okay. So anyway, yeah. Anyway, I thought it was hilarious what he did. He trolled the hell out of Kevin Logan, and I approved.
Okay, let's watch it.
Do love trash. I love fucking trash. Let me fucking tell you how much I love trash and okay, we are trash communists. We are garbage communists. We're out here revealing the truth. We're revealing the truth. We are telling the truth. We are showing what the American imperialists are, because that's what we are. We are the trash communists. We are the trash communists. You're goddamn right. You're goddamn right. We're Oscar communists. We are trash communists.
Oscar the Grouch.
That's what we are. That's what we fight for.
You fight for trash. I mean, I know Vladimir Putin is trash. That is true. Yeah.
We fight to reveal the trash of the U.S. imperialists. We fight the trash of the British imperialists. We fight to reveal the trash of the Ukrainian Nazis. That's what we do. We are communists. We are trash communists. We are trash communists. We are trash communists. Hail Oscar.
I'm glad that got under your fucking skin. I'm glad that little drive got under you.
Embrace the trash communism. Join our side and be what you are meant to be. An Oscar garbage trash communist.
Leftist lawn guy land.
That's brutal.
Yeah, I mean, I was speechless the first time I watched that. I mean, he trolled the hell out of Kevin Logan, and I understand what he meant by that. I mean, I call myself obviously a dirtbag leftist, and I think it's in the same spirit. You know, you're just calling out the bullshit where you see it, and some of the stuff he was calling out, I can't dispute it.
Wait, you can't dispute it?
You can't, yeah, the American imperialism, the and United States basically, just propping up Nazis in the Ukraine, that sort of thing. I mean, the Yankee Tanky's correct.
Yeah, but yeah, he's correct on that part. Yeah, he's just wild. He's wilding out sometimes. I swear, he's just too much for me sometimes.
Yeah, I like
throwing a trash bag around saying that we are a trash communist. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
He can be over the top at times, but I like the guy. I'm gonna tell you a quick story about him. I first found out about him through a Vosh video, and honestly, he was bragging how he defeated Vosh and everything. Honestly, I think that his points were more valid than Vosh. I didn't agree with him on every point. Of course, I could say the same thing about Vosh. I don't agree with him on everything either. I got some issues with Vosh. However, I think he thought I was hostile when I was asking him a few questions about MAGA communism. But I mean, as I said, we get along, and we communicate, and I like the guy. He's all right.
Yeah, he showed up a couple times on a couple of my live streams before, and he's really nice and he's kind and all that stuff. He's just not the kind of alleyway that I would walk down, especially his like political stance, like the whole MAGA communist and all of that is just not my things as a female. So yeah, no, he's a nice person in general. Absolutely. It's not my shtick, and I would never do it. So I just don't watch it. It's just, it's all right. Yeah. It's his thing. It's what's making him. He got on with Vosh. I mean, he's argued with Keffels. He's done quite a lot with himself being the way that he is. So I see the clout chase that he's doing too, to, get himself out there, but it's not my thing either. He's cool. He's nice. I don't follow him too much.
As I said, yes, you got to sometime make fun of the system, and I approve.
See, and that's what I didn't get. I didn't get the joke of him making fun of the system, so that's probably why.
Yeah. So,
but that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So next one, for me was a big thing that happened in 2023. Was the Burning Man festival kind of went to crap, and people were stuck out there for days. And so USA Today did a good photos in review of the disaster that was Burning Man. So here's some pictures of like the beginning of Burning Man, people getting all set up and everything's getting all fun. And here's where things start going bad. Cars are breaking down, getting stuck in the muds. just traffic for miles, just ridiculous amounts of traffic. People just trying to get all their stuff out. There was, people trying to hitch rides and fit in where they could, get in where they could fit in. Food was definitely running low out there. They were hugely low on food. Some people, turned it into a really cool, fun experience and just took advantage of just being out there and living like that for a couple of days. This was really gross. There was something there called moop. Matter that's out of place. They were like out there picking up poop and putting it in things, containers and stuff, because they were running low on toilet storage, I guess you would call it, which is really gross. So yeah, that was one of the big things that stood out to me this year was the Burning Man Disaster Festival. To me, the reason why it stood out was like a fight in my head of a couple different reasons of like feeling bad that they were stuck out there, but also like knowing that, I've toughened it out in, camping and stuff. They're in the desert with a bunch of other people. At least they've got other people to ask things. Like I've been stuck out in the middle of the forest for like 2-3 days camping, and trying to see if I can make it. So I've done this kind of stuff, not in the desert, but I've done this stuff, and they had a big community helping out too. And it was pretty interesting to see what a bunch of rich hippie wannabe kids would do if they were stuck in a situation like that where they couldn't have the normal amenities that they're used to. That was pretty fun.
Yeah. It sounds like kind of like an eccentric hobby and everything like that. I don't know. I don't know if I could do that myself. Or how long were they out there doing that? Or
I can't even remember. I know it was at least a few days. Now you're testing my memory.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I'm curious.
Yeah, even on here it says stranded for days. So
it's stranded for days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just, I guess, to each is their own. And what was it? Moop? You said that they were picking up
moop. Yeah, matter out of place. So like poop, pretty much.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because they were running low on like trash storage and the toilets were done. They couldn't use the porta potties anymore because the people that were there were using them up already. So they had to go somewhere. The trash had to be put. So they made like this effort of groups of people to go around and pick up what they called moop, matter out of place.
Right. Yeah.
So
well, there you have it. I mean, that's that sounds
it was interesting. It was very interesting to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, so
for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's get one of yours. All right. You want to talk about this one? It's the shoe on head.
The shoe on. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. I forwarded that to you a few days ago.
Barbie.
Yes, the Barbie one. Okay, I didn't have mine thing with me. Yeah, she reviewed the Barbie film and reviewed the Ben Shapiro take on this Barbie film, and it was hilarious. Because I'm all for humiliating Ben Shapiro.
Okay, let's bring this up.
What is this? What is that? What does it mean? So first of all, let's get the good things out of the way. The set was amazing and gorgeous. I'm absolutely obsessed with the aesthetics of the Barbie movie. I love every single outfit Margot Robbie wore. The fashion and the visuals in this movie just spectacular. Margot Robbie did a great job as Barbie, even though according to the internet, she is mid. If you don't like Will Ferrell, you probably won't like his character in this movie because he's playing the same character he plays in every single movie. But I like that character, so I liked him in this movie. Ryan Gosling absolutely stole the entire movie, and I genuinely hope like he wins some kind of award for it because that would just be delicious irony. I laughed out loud like 3 times, which is less than I thought I would, but there were a lot of like funny and cute moments that will make you go, huh? The humor and the overall vibe of this movie reminded me a lot of Zoolander. Obviously not as funny as Zoolander, but the overall vibe was very early 2000s comedy. If you go into this movie with the idea that this movie was made to look like and feel like a movie made 20 years ago, it just makes a lot more sense. The movie broke the fourth wall often. It felt very self-aware, or at least appeared that way. The parts of the movie where the movie wasn't trying to be anything deeper than what it was were great. But the parts of the movie that tried to be something deeper were really, really bad. But what if I told you that's what makes it so good? Take the shoe pill, and I'll show you how deep this Barbie hole goes. Barbie hole? Now, before I pop off, before I put on my, 2016 shoe on head hat, let's make one thing perfectly clear. Barbie was always about female empowerment. I was absolutely expecting a girl power movie. Like, it's Barbie. If you were expecting anything else, then you're a fool. But I wasn't expecting the type of politics that were in this movie. The politics, at least on like a surface level, were very, very 2014. That is like the only way that I could describe it. The most tired, lib shit, corpo, Tumblr, male tears ass. It had everything, it had catcalling, it had mansplaining, it had patriarchy. Oh god, did it have patriarchy? The type of shit that's like, if women were in positions of power, everything would be better. And it's like, the whole military-industrial complex is run by women. Italy just elected a far-right female prime minister. A shit ton of people in our government are women. How's that all working out? The film opens up with a reference to 2001: Space Odyssey. Little girls are seen playing with baby dolls, as the narrator tells us about how, before Barbie, all little girls got to pretend to be were mothers and nothing else, until a giant Barbie appears and they smash their dolls. Now, keep the intro in mind, because we'll get back to that. Barbie World is depicted as what I like to call a dystopian utopia. Barbie essentially lives in a pink hell world. Every day is exactly the same. Everyone is perfect. They feel no pain. They do not age. They have no need for food or drinks or real showers. They party every night, wake up, and do it all again. The vibe is very much Stepford Wives, The Neighborhood from Edward Scissorhands, and that one episode of Black Mirror. The Kens are just completely cocked and subservient to the Barbies. They just exist in the shadow of the Barbies. Just an entire subclass of simps, just like you guys. Barbie World is completely run by women. President Barbie, Dr. Barbie, Astronaut Barbie, and then there's Ken. And according to the movie, Ken only has a good day if Barbie notices him. Oh, and there's also trans Barbie, which I didn't even know she was trans at first. They never made it clear if she was trans Barbie, or like the actress was just trans and she was just like a normal Barbie. I think the actress was just trans and she was just playing a regular Barbie, which is cool and makes sense because like, what the fuck would even be the point of transitioning if you're always going to be stuck playing a trans character? All the Barbies do all day, every day is like look pretty, compliment each other, give each other awards. It all just feels very fake and, well, plastic. At one point, the movie makes a point about how Mattel discontinued a pregnant Barbie and how they just want to ignore her and pretend she never existed. Don't look at her. Don't look at Midge. Look at all the doctors and astronauts. Look at all the girl bosses. Look over there. It was almost like the movie was making a point, but I don't know. In Barbie World, Barbie starts to have an existential crisis because she notices she has cellulite and flat feet and starts to have thoughts about death. She finds out this is happening because the girl who's playing with her in real life is sad, so she has to go to the real world and make that girl happy. So in the real world, Barbie is immediately sexualized and catcalled, and she even gets sexually assaulted at one point. But Ken, coming from a world where he didn't get any attention and was constantly fighting for any kind of attention, was loving the attention. Ask any man the last time a stranger complimented them. Men remember like every single compliment they've ever received in their lives. I know the men watching this, there's always that one compliment that sticks out in your mind. Maybe some lady complimented your shirt or your hair. And Ken is amazed that people are realizing that he exists. So clearly the movie is highlighting the isolation and loneliness men experience. Clearly. While Barbie is off to find the girl who is playing with the doll version of her, Ken basically gets red-pilled by a right-wing Little Dark Age edit showing the glory and triumph of men. Presidents, rock stars, wrestlers, mini fridges, and horses. And then he learns about the patriarchy. Oh my god, is that the patriarchy? Ken reads all of this feminist literature, which tells him that men are in charge of everything and rule everything and can get away with anything. And the movie itself never really goes into anything else about patriarchy, so I guess that's what patriarchy is. So we walk.
Okay, before we run out of time, then we got to get some other ones. So what did you like? What did you enjoy the most out of the Barbie film itself?
Her making fun of Ben Shapiro in the video.
Where does she make fun of Ben Shapiro?
I think it's like
right here.
The apotheosis of your being is not motherhood. We got rid of that at the very beginning. It is your vagina. It is that you go to the gynecologist.
The scene in 2001 Odyssey shows man could stop being the victim of nature and instead have power over nature. The little girls in the beginning show they don't have to be a victim of the patriarchy. No longer do they have to be confined to motherhood, to nature. They now have power over nature. And so they smash their baby dolls in the shadow of a towering pillar of Barbie, a towering pillar of Mattel, a towering pillar of capitalism, clearly contrasted with the ending of the movie, where Barbie rejects her capitalist utopia created by Mattel, visits a gynecologist, and embraces nature. Nah, it really ain't that deep. It was just kind of a silly little movie. It was a fun movie. I liked it. It was a nice change from the non-stop Disney remakes and Marvel
It looks like
movies.
she only made
It was
fun
also
of
nice
him
to just see
right
some
there.
like color on the big screen instead of
I think
brown
in
and
the-
gray. Everything has to be gritty and realistic. This was just very.
I think it's like it more like in the beginning. Wait, let's see. Yeah, she commented on. Yeah.
Just wanted to watch the Barbie movie, and it is probably the wokest film of 2023. This movie is not just a piece of shit. This movie is a flaming piece of dog.
I don't need to watch Barbie to know that it's bad.
So I just saw Barbie, and it is the most preachy, woke, liberal, feminist garbage I have ever seen in my goddamn life. Or was it? Which pill will you take, audience? Will you take the Shapiro pill, where you will stay in reality, crying and shitting about woke Hollywood forever? Or will you take the shoe pill, where reality is anything you make it, and the Barbie movie was actually an anti-woke masterpiece? As a kid, I didn't really play with Barbies.
Is that the part you were talking about?
If you scroll a little further, there'll
Not really
be
a Barbie enjoyer. I like dinosaurs.
and her reaction.
I
is
like
great.
Hot Wheels. I like office lamps. So Barbie doesn't really hold any. Do a 45-minute video. I knew it just had to be good.
Right, one of the Barbies is a trans Barbie with a voice again deeper than my own.
Ben, I have a deeper voice than you. Everyone has a deeper voice than you. What was funny was people were actually dunking on Ben for bringing a notebook to the movie theater so he could write notes while he was watching Barbie. But like, I did that too. Let's see what this says. Feet. Oh yeah, there was a lot of feet. There was a lot of feet in this movie. This is literally like hieroglyphics. What is this? What is that? What does it mean? So first of all, let's get the good things out of the way. The set was amazing and gorgeous. I'm absolutely obsessed with the aesthetics of the Barbie movie. I love every single outfit Margot Robbie wore. The fashion and the visuals in this movie just spectacular. Margot Robbie did a great job as Barbie, even though according to the internet, she is mid. If you don't like Will Ferrell, you probably won't like his character in this movie because.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, basically, Ben Shapiro wants to make a culture war out of everything, and I kind of like how she kind of just made fun of his bullshit, like him complaining about the trans character in the film and saying he doesn't want to watch a movie where a female has a deeper voice than you, and she's like, Ben, I have a deeper voice than you. Everybody has a deeper voice than you, because Ben Shapiro. Again, is so predictable. He's one of the most predictable assholes around that wants to make a culture war out of something as benign as a Barbie film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, he definitely did. I didn't see the movie at all, so
I didn't either. Yeah.
But no, I see. Okay. They did make a big old hubbub about it. So my big takeaway from it was, like, I didn't watch either one, so I can't really make an opinion about the movies themselves. It was just really funny to me. The same time that America's biggest movie at that time that came out was Barbie, the UK's biggest movie was Oppenheimer. And I'm like, that just shows like what the countries are interested at the moment. Like we're interested in fake Mattel capitalism Barbie bullshit, and the UK is talking about fucking America nuking fucking Japan. All right.
Yeah,
making the nuclear bomb. All right.
That's why I tell people that I identify as Northern England.
Yeah, exactly. Hirschman got in their alpha men got in their fifis over that movie, over the Barbie movie, for sure did. It's the whole thing was stupid. They were making such a big deal about a movie, like, and then what was it, like a week or two or something like that before they did the whole move, they came out with the movie about like trafficking at the southern border, where it comes to find out that like the guys that created the movie were actually accused of trafficking kids themselves. So, like, but get mad about the Barbie movie. Okay.
Yeah, I would actually like to see Oppenheimer, and I will at a certain point.
Yeah. Yeah,
that has some more of an interest and all
Same.
that. So
Same. I agree. I have more interest in seeing on Oppenheimer than Barbie for sure. Okay, so we've got one more minute, but I do want to go over this video because I personally, I saved this one for last because I think this is probably the biggest news story of the year, and it obviously is still going on right now. And just because the holidays are here and the New Year's is here and people are, getting all in their fifis about being with family and becoming a new person for the New Year's and what new things are going to bring the New Year's, please don't forget that this has been going on since October, and tens of thousands of people are dying every day. Not every day, but since this happened, people are dying every day, and it's continuing to go on. And I really don't want people to forget about this at all. So I know we shouldn't be watching the New York Times after their little bukkake that they did fucking today, but they kind of do show a little bit of what's been going on out in Palestine.
This is an area in Gaza where for weeks civilians fled to find safety. These are 2,000-pound bombs, one of the most destructive munitions in Western military arsenals. When a 2,000-pound bomb detonates, it unleashes a blast wave and metal fragments thousands of feet in every direction. Sometimes, 2,000-pound bombs leave giant craters in the earth, like this strike in South Gaza in November.
I'm going to skip through because
munitions experts say 2,000.
Yeah, there's like a lot.
How often the attacks
They're
were launched
screaming,
by Hamas,
saying that they were told to go south, and they went south, and now they're being bombed. And where is the safety?
but visual evidence indicates Israel was dropping 2,000-pound bombs in the area it was ordering civilians to go.
It was.
Our goal, and we're taking extraordinary efforts to achieve it, is to minimize civilian casualties. This is our ethos. And here's the problem. We're faced with the most vicious kind of enemy who not only attacks civilians, but commits the other war crime of deliberately hiding behind their civilians. They use them as human shields.
I mean, these are the kind of things that this guy is saying during, while I just showed you 1 second ago, a woman saying that she ran south because they told her that was safe and they're being bombed there, and that's not safety. How are they using them as human shield if they're going to the safety area and bombing the safety areas? Just saying.
In response,
I mean, he's like one of the most evil people that can head any country today. I mean, and there's a lot of horrible people around the world, and he's one of them. I mean, he was largely the reason why the U.S. went into Iraq. I mean, he was begging as a foreign minister 20 years ago, begging for Britain and the U.S. to go into Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
Yeah, it won't happen, but I would say the day that he is arrested for war crimes would be a day that I'd be celebrating.
Yep.
On bombs in South Gaza, an Israeli military spokesman told The Times that Israel's priority is destroying Hamas, and, quote, questions of this kind will be looked into at a later stage. They also said that, quote, in stark contrast to Hamas's intentional attacks, the IDF, quote, follows international law and takes feasible precautions to mitigate civilian harm. But the U.S. says Israel must do more to avoid civilian casualties.
Yeah, that's the part that pisses me off too, and I'm going to leave it at that part. Is no matter how much bombing and genocide they're doing on Palestine, all you hear America is saying is you must do more to stop the civilian deaths. Like, you must do more. Just the wording right there, that's just showing that America is not really trying at all whatsoever to stop any of this. They're just, using words and pretending like we want it to end, but we don't. So I just don't want people to forget what's going on in Palestine. Also, recently, we've been Yemen Houthis have been going and starting as well. I don't want people to forget that what we know is going on in Palestine right now. The Yemenis have been starving for years and years and years, and we call their Houthis rebels and terrorists as well. Like, I really hope people start opening their eyes this year and start seeing the lies and the propaganda that our governments and other countries are making the people see, and the words that they're using, like the word terrorist, when it comes to this country's military, just because they're not on our side, and really seeing what's going on out all over the world and here too as well. I mean, we see the corruptness here, but it's really mortally affecting lives in other countries too. So way worse than us. And I just don't want people to forget that going into the new year.
Yeah, what makes me mad is just I mean, really, they don't like to be called. They don't like to be called they don't like to be called, you know, Nazis and all of that. I'm a little uncomfortable about using that word at times, but I mean, what the hell else can you call it when this is, the way that they're conducting their military into Gaza, basically just wiping out everything that faces them. They're not just going after legitimate bad guys. Hamas are bad people, but it was bad people being propped up by Israel's Mossad. And Benjamin Netanyahu was caught admitting that they want Hamas to be a prevalent force, that that divide and conquer strategy. And so,
well, even if they were terrorist groups, they have had to turn themselves, at least I know in Hamas's situation, has had to turn themselves into a military force, into a governing force, because they were forced into that. They didn't think that they were going to win when they ran. They all they did was say that what was it? We were against the two-state solution, or we were against the apartheid, and that's pretty much. I mean, obviously, Bibi propping them up and all that stuff too, but like it seems like these quote unquote what we would call terrorist groups just seems like a bunch of angry young people that are mad about this oppression that they've had on them, and have had to, because of seeing the oppression on the innocent civilians in their country, have turned themselves into, from what it could be just a run-of-the-mill gang, to a working military force that's protecting their civilians, that's doing what they can to make sure that their people, their family members, their friends, their neighbors stay alive. So, but we still call them terrorists. It drives me insane, and I'm starting to see it more and more in other places like Yemen and in other situations, Afghanistan.
yeah, when they fire a rocket and it kills, maybe, I would say, I'm going to give a number. If it kills 40 Israelis, which my thing is, that's 40 Israelis too many. But when Israel responds with the 40 deaths of Israelis and kill 400 or kill 4,000, I'm just throwing out a number. That kind of response is so massive. It's going to go and trigger a reaction. It's going to make Hamas more unreasonable and more militant. The Israelis the government, not the people, but the government kind of called it on themselves, this whole shit. And it can only stop the ball's in Israel court to put this to a stop. And they must put this to a stop. It must be a ceasefire now. And for some reason, that's controversial in the United States.
It's not even a discussion out in Israel. I mean, if you go extreme left in Israel, the farthest left, their talking points and their thought process is, if only they would go further south or go somewhere else, they would be safe. And that's not even anywhere near a ceasefire. That's just moving them somewhere else so they can continue bombing. And that's far left opinions in Israel. So, you can't really expect anybody here in America to be listening as well too, especially if we're really technically like a far right government, centrist to far right. So
and for what, when Republicans see the Democrats and Republicans, they're on the same page on that issue. But with Republicans, they do it to appease, not because they're pro-Jewish. They do it because they're pro-Christian right, and the Christian right, Christian Zionism it's actually more toxic than the Zionism that's practiced by Jewish individuals. And the United States foreign policy is going to lead to a bad situation for everybody involved.
I agree.
Yeah. So
all right. So what do you got going on this week, Mr. Willie?
I don't know what I'll be talking about, but I may be doing a stream tomorrow evening before I go to work. Possibly.
Okay.
If I don't, because I'm tired. Let's see, I'm trying to think. At 11 o'clock Sunday night, I'll be around watching Strabula Warren's channel for for the New Year's show. And I will be periodically live streaming once I get the time. I should have more time to start live streaming on a semi-regular schedule again, since the holidays are over, essentially. So,
Agreed.
Yeah. So, how about yourself?
Probably be streaming some gaming sometimes this week. Now, like you said, now that the holidays are over, maybe I'll have some more free time on my hands. We've got the New Year's Eve stream with Warren on Sunday. I just found out. Yeah, Sunday is New Year's Eve, right?
New Year's Eve, yes.
Okay, then yeah, Sunday I'll be on Warren's show with him for that. And then yeah, just check me out over at Scarlet Sativa over on Twitch, and just give me a follow and you'll see when I stream. So just
Yeah,
random.
I didn't mean to do that. I'm so sorry. I've been meaning to do
You're
that.
good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Right.
and we'll and I guess we'll be doing I guess another Braglands for 2024 next week.
Yeah, first one of the year. So I won't even see you again till next year.
Yeah.
Sad.
Well, that's all right. You might maybe a live stream tomorrow if if you're up.
True. All right. We won't be doing a show again until next year. So
That's true. That's true.
all right. Huge shout out to everybody in the chats. Thank you for holding it down as you normally do. You guys are all awesome. You keep us rolling. Shout out to Willie. Thank you for everything you do on this show. I appreciate you. Nothing but love for all of you guys this year. This has been, even though it's been a really horrible year for a lot of us, I got to hang out and meet some really cool people this year, and I'm really appreciative and lucky that I got to meet people like you, and still have you all around, especially after all this time. So I just wanted to give you guys all a shout out and a thank you for sticking around and staying friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate our collaboration together. I enjoy doing this. Enjoy it when we were doing that on What and on my channel. This is great. Something I look forward to every Friday.
Cool.
And and all that. So any last words for everybody, I guess?
Stay high, free Palestine. That's all I gotta say.
Reject capitalism, free Palestine, free Julian Assange, and free speech.
There you go. All right. Peace out, everyone.
Absolutely.
Oh no.
Oh.
It's supposed to show. Why isn't it showing?
Let me make one last announcement.
Oh, go for it. Go for it. Make it.
Right. Yeah. Everyone, please subscribe to the Bragglands channel. I know many of y'all watching it on the Willie Bragg Show, but also do watch it on Bragglands. We have that channel, Braggland Show, youtube.com //Braggland Show. Please subscribe to our channel. Help make that channel grow. I just wanted to state that because we have high hopes for this channel.
That's right. We sure do. All right. Now we're going to get out of here. Peace out, bitches.